Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a great day today. It's May 30th, 2023. It is 12:04 a.m. and this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well. Well, today I received, let's see, what is this? This is a flyer that a targeted person uses to expose the arrogant, slimy gang stalkers. Okay, these are the words that he's using, calling them gang stalkers because that's the terminology that we are familiar with. And I'm going to read the flyer. And anybody that wants a copy of this flyer, I've already cut and pasted into a Word document. So you can email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com and I can send you a copy of it. I've already reformatted it. So this is the flyer. He said that you can copy and paste it into a Word document, which I did do. And he hand delivers and mails it within the neighborhood where you are being harassed. He said that it works. Oh, I wonder if it will work around here. So here you go, folks. I'm going to read it to you. Expose them. Organized persecution, also known as vigilantism, community policing, citizen patrol, organized bullying, mobbing, gang stalking, is a well-coordinated, sustained attack upon an individual or couple, the target. The variety of methods are utilized to intimidate, isolate, harass, and provoke the target into an incriminating act that will be recorded and used against them. The goal is to discredit, demoralize, and utterly devastate all quality of life. This is happening in our neighborhoods now. A smear campaign is the primary technique used to blacken a target's reputation and ultimately ruin their life. A proven effective method is to spread vile accusations within the community via the spoken word. The purpose is to turn neighbors against this horrible person, disgrace them, destabilize them, and ultimately destroy them. Typical accusations are a bigot, a racist, abusive, a drug dealer, a thief, a stalker, a terrorist, a prostitute, a pedophile, a sexual predator, subversive. Oh my goodness, this is describing my neighbors, actually. An undesirable of some sort. This is an effective means of recruitment because people love to gossip, and the uglier the better. This alone will convince people they are performing their civic duty by helping to bring down a creep labeled with any of the above. Persuading neighbors to follow and harass someone often involves bribes and intimidation as well. See, folks? They get bribes. A bribe is money, usually. There is something seriously wrong with all these people because well-adjusted individuals do not derive pleasure from hurting their fellow citizens this way. Those at the top directing the campaign are insulated by multiple layers of dimwit lower-level operatives and unlikely to ever be held accountable. These scheming individuals are masters of manipulation who prey upon the lower impulses, fears, and personal prejudice of neighbors to get them to carry out their underhanded, dirty work. Fabricated stories and lies change according to who is being recruited. Anyone the target comes into contact with receives a warning about the target. The warning usually includes disinformation, manufactured or altered evidence that the target is, quote-unquote, under investigation. This favorite tactic is designed to make all interactions uncomfortable and poison the entire community against the target. Finding and keeping a job in this environment is undermined. This continues for years because there is no shortage of misguided groundings willing to do nearly anything for money and other favors. See, these are the gift card whores that we've been talking about, folks. However, getting involved means dipping your toe into a foul, dark pool of energy, and getting out of the gang is not as easy as it was to join. The handlers now own you, and if you are on the payroll, you are at their mercy. Tactics: entrapment, home invasion, wiretaps, computer hacking, bugging, spoofing email, placing a GPS on cars, blacklisting, crowding, mobbing, workplace undermining, framing, honey traps, 24/7 surveillance, slander, mail tampering, verbal insults, gaslighting, poisoning pets, vandalism, etc. Parents will even use their children. Nothing is sacred or off limits. Street-level trackers are taught how to operate just below the threshold of what can be reported without sounding paranoid. They are fed biased information and pressured into adopting hostile feelings toward the target. Those invoked are obedient, sadistic, godless, and draw courage from the group. They literally gang up on their victim. I am conspicuously followed everywhere I go, often confronted, occasionally threatened. This is the most blatant form of his harassment, along with slander, multiple home car invasions, vandalism, tampered mail, and hacked phone PC. Gangstalking is a culture. It is a network of civilian, criminal, and corrupt members or former members of the security industry. You hear that, folks? The security industry. Private security firms. This immoral subculture provides an umbrella of protection where members can safely express their wicked impulses. The structure of the network resembles a pyramid, and only the people in charge at the top know why someone is targeted. Street-level trackers at the bottom believe what they're told and are warned to keep quiet for the sake of the investigation, of course. The real reason for silence is because these are not officially sanctioned campaigns that can withstand public scrutiny. They are illegal. Secrecy is also necessary because our local citizens patrol have morphed into cult-like groups that torment individuals who someone in power considers worthy of punishment. The phony investigation is a smokescreen that provides cover for an illicit program that circumvents due process and panders to the mob mentality. The handlers siphon money earmarked for combating domestic terrorism to subsidize their own personal projects. Historically, a smothering form of organized persecution originated with the East German Stasi post-World War II. The massive program was very effective in turning neighbor against neighbor and crushing those who dared resist the fascist government. Those in charge discovered they could divide and subjugate the populace in a way that was virtually impossible to confront and resist. J. Edgar Hoover implemented the program in the USA, and it has expanded tremendously under the Patriot Act. The only requirement to be put on a list is a corrupt official or a well-connected civilian. You hear that, folks? This is how you get on the list. A corrupt official or well-connected civilian. Well, we have no shortage of corrupt officials, that's for sure. There can be any number of reasons. Perhaps the target crossed the wrong person, knows too much, has personal or political vengeance, too outspoken, too influential, a whistleblower, a messy divorce, a bad breakup, or make an example of. Regardless, organized harassment is evil and a violation of civil rights. It is also a terrible waste of resources that could be directed towards apprehending real criminals. The counterfeit patriots involved in vigilante stalking are divisive and spread their poison throughout the community. These smear merchants are in the business of destroying people's lives, and the clueless street-level trackers are expendable pawns. What can you do? Do not participate. Do not be deceived by these scurrilous liars. Do not cooperate with them. You cannot be forced to join, and it is dangerous to do so because they will turn on you for any number of reasons. Legitimate investigations are not witch hunts. Character assassination only works when gullible, fearful, or devious people go along and spread the lies. You cannot trust these scoundrels on any level, and getting involved is bad karma that will taint your life with disfavor and darkness. The psychopaths responsible for this despicable campaigns flood the internet with fake, crazy-sounding articles, testimony, and YouTube videos designed to give the impression that none of this is real and to discredit genuine victims. Unless you are someone you know has become a target, it is easy to dismiss any of this as real, but it is. And then he adds a couple of articles, one of which I actually read on my channel. One is called The Lessons from the Stasi, a cautionary tale on mass surveillance. Then there is another called Fight Gangstalking, and the other is called How Widespread is Gangstalking. And I can post the links to these articles in the description section. So folks, I hope you enjoyed this flyer. If you would like a copy of it, send me an email at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I have created a Word document, and it's a 14-point font. I added page numbers to it and headings so that it's easy to read, and I highlighted, bold printed some of the important the most important tactics. So here you go, folks. So this is the flyer that he uses to expose the arrogant, slimy gang stalkers. And let's see here. He wrote, and I'll just read a little bit of what he wrote. He said that his gang stalking began roughly 20 years ago and continues. Exposure is the stalker's Achilles heel. And he created this flyer and strategically distributes it within his community. It works because store clerks, neighbors, etc. are, of course, visited and warned about the target, you and me. And then they read the flyer, and over time, people within your neighborhood and community begin to see that what the flyer says is true. The guilty stalkers may retaliate by increasing the intensity of their persecution. And that may take a variety of forms, but doing nothing or playing nice is always something the ones calling the shots will positively exploit, because they are relentless, immoral, and vicious. Resistance is not futile, and the only meaningful reaction. Become active in your community, do good things, build good relationships, and in short, become known, and do not hide or be intimidated. Intimidation is the primary method of scaring you into a submissive, beaten down life. It's time to face your fears and resist, because the alternative is worse. War has likely been declared on you and me. Much of it is psychological abuse. One goal of these lost souls is to ruin every good thing in your life with slander. Excuse me. Figure out a way to fight back and expose them, or gradually be dismantled while those responsible enjoy an endorphin rush at your demise. I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. He said to feel free to copy the flyer and use it. It fits perfectly on 2 sides of 8.5/11 paper. Actually, mine is now on 3 pages because I increased the font size, folks. These bottom feeders will try to unnerve you into being paralyzed so you do not stand against what I like to call the lizard people. Not to be confused with the conventional definition of alien beings assuming human form. A very common tactic of gang stalkers is to pressure their target into a persistent state of agitation, upset, and anger, because that makes them more susceptible to provocation. Their goal is to provoke the target into acting out in a way that can be used against them. Live healthy in mind, spirit, and body by being a warrior for righteousness, and do not allow their negativity to overwhelm you, as that is one of their primary goals. This will require daily effort and commitment, but you will now be engaged in a real battle with dark energy, where living a passive life is no longer a fruitful option. We first defeat them mentally in our minds. The lizard people do not want you to understand that. Educate yourself and have great faith in whatever way you worship. Give time to God every day to maintain your spiritual fitness as beliefs to counter the negative energy being heaped upon you. This is critical. Become your best self. And I will tell you, folks, that these criminals, they are pushing it. Because as I said, I will be exposing them all this year. I don't know who is at the top, but I know for a fact who in this community, who in this neighborhood, who on this block are spreading the slander campaign, including, but not limited to, the county lawyer and the sheriff's department. And this has already been forwarded to the criminal division at the Attorney General's office, who has not responded to my complaints. I have also sent it to Senator Rand Paul. And if I don't receive a response from the Attorney General and the criminal division very soon, all of this will be going to the Department of Justice. It'll be going to the FBI. It will be going to all the top people and to Congress. I will be sending them to the Congress people that I feel would be interested in this topic. When I hired a couple of people to help me clean out a couple of the buildings here, we went into the garage where my moving belongings were moved into when I moved here. And some of the things that these creatures have done to my vintage antique furniture, which is beyond repair and beyond anything that should be done to anyone. And I will tell you for a fact that one of the items that they damaged is worth over $15,000. And I intend to get every penny back from this county. And I am going to expose everything that has been done to me since I moved to Kentucky. I already did in New Jersey. I'm not there anymore. But I have every intention of exposing all of those criminals at the Manalapan Police Department too. And they know who they are. But now that I'm in Kentucky and that my belongings were moved from New Jersey to Kentucky and were taken to a warehouse, I will find out where it was taken, who unpacked those boxes, who repackaged them. I don't care how long it takes, but I'm going to find out what happened to my belongings when they moved from New Jersey to Kentucky. And I will then be filing a criminal complaint about that. And by the way, folks, for anybody that has moved, the mover that I use is Wheaton Van Lines. Wheaton Van Lines likely received a contact from one of these private security firms, slandering me and lying, maybe even flashing a fake badge. But they went along to get along. They stole my passport. They packaged food in with my clothing. They damaged vintage, antique furniture that cannot be replaced. They've stolen things. In looking through the belongings that were moved here, I moved so many pairs of shoes that are not here. I packaged an entire kitchen of food, cans of food, vitamins and stuff. We have not found any of it. It was all stolen. And there are a lot of other things that were stolen. But I'm not going to go along to get along, and I will never shut up about this. I don't really give a crap who I pissed off in New Jersey. We're talking about a malignant narcissist, somebody get their little feelings hurt because you pissed them off, because you spoke out. Oh, you had a bad divorce. Maybe it was an opportunity for one of those horrible lawyers that my ex-husband hired that were evil to the core. Or how about some of the celebrity narcissists I came across even years before? That's quite possible. Or how about the feral cat cartel? The criminals that traffic animals for profit stole my own and stuck them on Adopt-a-Pet for adoption. Yeah, by that woman named Maria in Barnegat, New Jersey, who's married to a retired police officer. Yeah. And no, I will never stop speaking out, folks. We're talking about my life. What if this were happening to their lives? What if little Maria was stalked for 24 hours, or how about 6 months? How about the entire feral cat cartel? Like the national one in Maryland. Talk about malignant narcissists, folks. Those people over there, they should be in prison. A lot of these people should be in prison. The first thing we need to do is expose them. And for the people that are believing these criminals that spread the rumors, to wake up and not believe these slander campaigns that ruin people's lives. I saw an interview with a security consultant, and his service is hired by, men and women. They want to spy on their boyfriends and girlfriends. They'll even get on an airplane and track a husband or an ex-husband or whatever to get back at them and stuff. This has gone a little bit too far. It's one thing to collect evidence on a cheating spouse, but it's another to break into an innocent person's home to slander them just because they pissed somebody off. These are crimes, folks. These are felony crimes. These are civil rights crimes. They're crimes across the board. And these security consultants, they're getting rich. And all these little community-based harassment stalkers that get off on it, they jerk off on it. They achieve sadistic pleasure. Well, guess what, folks? They are the ones that are depraved lunatics. The smear campaign is a projection of what they are. The vile accusations they spread within the community, like my neighbors do, like I know for a fact that they have approached every worker on my property. The typical accusations are bigot, racist, abusive, drug dealer, thief, stalker, terrorist, prostitute, pedophile, sexual predator, subversive. Well, I can tell you for a fact, my neighbors meet most of those adjectives. They're all bigots around here. They're racist. They're abusive. Drug dealers, yeah, big time in Kentucky. Thieves, absolutely thieves. Stalkers, well, we know that for a fact. Terrorists, oh yeah, they like to shoot their firearms on my property. Prostitute, well, I don't know. Some of the guys around here were telling me stuff about my neighbor. I don't know. Pedophile, if you want to know about the pedophiles, folks, there's a pedophile database. It's in every state. It's on every sheriff's department website. You can go online and find it. And if your photo's not there, then you're not on the list, folks. Sexual predators and pedophiles are together on those lists. There are photos, the dates of conviction, the age of the person, and where they live. They also tell you what that person did. Okay, folks, that's in every city, it's in every state, it's across the country. So if you want to find a pedophile, you want to find a sexual predator, somebody who's already been accused, look no further. Just do a search online for your community. I did it as soon as I moved here. I did it as soon as I moved here. I wanted to see who I lived near. I did it in Manalapan, New Jersey, and there were sexual predators not far from me. There was actually one within walking distance of the library, the public library. There were several in Freehold, New Jersey, which was the next town over. They don't need to spread these ridiculous rumors. Just go online. You could find it all online. As far as being a bigot or a racist, come on, folks. Anybody that goes to a small rural town of 800 people, there ain't anybody more racist and bigoted than these people. And drugs are off the charts here. It is in every city and every state. Drugs is a problem across the country. It's not just illicit drugs. It's the big pharma drugs. It's the drugs that are being prescribed for injuries. One of the biggest things that was going on in New Jersey were, a lot of children or teenagers had, they were football players and baseball players and hockey players and stuff, and they would get injured and maybe have to have a surgical procedure. And they would be given painkillers. I'm not going to say the name of the painkiller, but they'd become addicted to it. So this is in every city, in every state, across the country. Thieves are everywhere. Stalkers, well, guess what, folks? The stalkers are all around us. These people are the stalkers. They are the terrorists. Subversive? Please. It's unbelievable, folks. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, anybody that wants a copy of this flyer, email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I will send it as a Word attachment. And this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, exposing one criminal at a time.